Welcome to Holme Horror. I've been waiting for you. The Collector. Agent Emma Royce had dedicated her life to the pursuit of justice, carving out a reputation in the FBI for her keen instincts and unshakable resolve. Newly assigned to the Behavioral Analysis Unit, Emma had dealt with serial predators before, but the case of the Collector felt different. Deeper, darker. Over 2 years, 6 women in their late 20s had vanished without a trace. No bodies, no crime scenes. Just a trail of letters sent anonymously to local police departments. Each bore the same chilling phrase, "True beauty deserves preservation." The cryptic nature of the case haunted Emma, drawing her into sleepless nights and obsessive analysis. Now, with her career on the line and a potential suspect in her sights, Emma had no idea how close she was to uncovering a nightmare beyond anything she had imagined. It was a quiet morning in Quantico when Emma received an email that made her blood run cold. The subject line read, "She's waiting." The email contained an address and the phrase, "You'll understand when you see her." The address led Emma and her team to an abandoned farmhouse deep in rural Virginia. The building was in disrepair, its paint peeling and windows shattered. Despite its unassuming appearance, Emma felt a sense of foreboding as she entered. In the living room sat a porcelain doll, cracked and yellowed with age. Its face bore a hauntingly lifelike expression. Tied around its wrist was a locket containing a photograph of Marcy Shaw, the most recent woman to disappear. The team moved cautiously into the basement, where the air grew colder and the smell of chemicals lingered. Along the walls were photographs of the missing women, each posed as if for a macabre fashion shoot. In the corner stood a cage, its floor rusted and stained with blood. Emma's stomach churned as she examined the scene. Whoever the Collector was, they weren't just taking lives, they were creating something grotesque. Back at headquarters, Emma's analysis led her to Dr. Victor Armand, a once renowned plastic surgeon. Armand had retired early after a series of accusations, psychological manipulation, coercive behavior, and a disturbing fixation on enhancing his patients' natural beauty. Though he had never been convicted, his past suggested a sinister obsession. Emma and her partner, Agent Harris, brought Armand in for questioning. The man who entered the interrogation room was tall and impeccably dressed, his silver hair neatly combed. His piercing blue eyes seemed to assess Emma the moment he sat down. "I've read about your work, Agent Royce," he said smoothly. "You have an impressive record." Emma ignored the compliment. "We're investigating a series of disappearances linked to your name. What can you tell us about your relationship with Gerald Crane?" Armand's expression didn't falter. "Mr. Crane is an artist. I've worked with him on occasion, offering advice on anatomical accuracy for his sculptures. I didn't realize consulting was a crime." Emma leaned forward, her voice sharp. "These women didn't disappear by chance. Someone is targeting them, someone who believes in preserving beauty." Armand smiled faintly. "Is that what you think? Or is that what you want to believe?" Without concrete evidence, they had to release him, but Emma's instincts told her he was involved. 3 weeks later, another woman vanished. Lydia Ramirez, an art curator, was last seen visiting Eternal Forms, a gallery specializing in hyper-realistic sculptures. Gerald Crane owned the gallery, and his connection to Armand solidified Emma's suspicions. Emma and Harris visited the gallery, posing as art collectors. The space was eerily quiet, the air heavy with the scent of varnish. Sculptures of men and women lined the walls, each posed with unsettling realism. Emma's eyes fell on a piece titled "The Frozen Smile." The woman's expression was serene, almost lifelike, but something about her eyes seemed hollow. Crane appeared, his wiry frame an unsettling grin making Emma's skin crawl. "Ah, new patrons," he said warmly. "Do you find my work inspiring?" "It's unique," Emma replied, her voice steady. "Your attention to detail is remarkable. What materials do you use?" Crane's grin widened. "I use what the world provides. Each piece tells a story, a moment captured for eternity." Emma forced a smile, but her instincts screamed that she was standing in the lion's den. Later that night, Emma returned to the gallery alone. She climbed through a side window, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The sculptures loomed around her, their eyes following her every move. At the back of the gallery, she found a locked door. Picking the lock took longer than she expected, but the click of the mechanism sent a surge of adrenaline through her veins. The room beyond was cold and sterile, filled with the pungent smell of chemicals. Emma's flashlight illuminated a series of large vats, their glass sides clouded with condensation. Peering closer, she recoiled in horror. Inside the vats were the missing women, their bodies preserved in grotesque perfection. Their skin was unnaturally smooth, their expressions frozen in serene tranquility. Emma's hands trembled as she photographed the scene. She turned to leave, her mind racing, but stopped when she heard a voice. "Do you see now, Agent Royce?" Victor Armand stepped into the room, his face calm, his hands in his pockets. Gerald Crane followed close behind, his expression one of barely contained glee. "You weren't supposed to see this," Armand said softly. "But now that you have, perhaps you can appreciate the beauty of our work." Emma drew her gun, her voice firm. "Stay where you are." Crane laughed, his voice high and manic. "She thinks she can stop us, Victor." Armand raised a hand, his movements slow and deliberate. "Agent Royce, you're an intelligent woman. Surely you understand. This isn't murder, it's art." "You're delusional," Emma snapped. "These are human lives." "They were ordinary," Armand replied, his tone almost tender. "We made them extraordinary." Crane lunged at Emma, and she fired, hitting him in the shoulder. He screamed, collapsing to the floor. Armand seized the moment, grabbing the scalpel and rushing at her. The struggle was brutal. Emma managed to knock the scalpel from his hand, but Armand was strong, his grip relentless. He slammed her against a table, sending jars of chemicals crashing to the floor. "You could be our masterpiece," he whispered, his breath hot against her ear. Summoning every ounce of strength, Emma kneed him in the stomach and grabbed a metal tray, striking him across the head. Armand fell, dazed, and Emma fled up the stairs. Backup arrived within minutes. Agents swarmed the gallery, but Armand and Crane were gone. The vats were recovered, their contents confirming the identities of the missing women. The media hailed Emma as a hero, her bravery making national headlines. But for Emma, the case felt far from over. Months later, Emma tried to move on, but the horror she'd witnessed lingered. One evening, as she prepared for bed, she found an envelope on her nightstand. Inside was a photograph of herself, her expression serene and her eyes distant. The style was unmistakable. It matched the other victims. Her breath quickened as she scanned her apartment, but the room was empty. Then she noticed it, the faint smell of varnish. The lights flickered and a shadow moved in the corner of her eye. Before she could react, a hand clamped over her mouth, and everything went dark. When her colleagues arrived the next morning, the apartment was pristine. The only trace of Emma was a new piece displayed at Eternal Forums. The plaque read, "Eternal Beauty, Agent Emma Royce." Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling stories. And remember, be careful. I'll be watching you.